Hello guys, how are you? Welcome to season 3 episode 2 of the Hockey Republic. It's a wonderful day, the sun is out. As you can see, today we've decided to use a shed. So with me I have 3 big gentlemen, as you can see. Watu wamekula gym. We have my good friend in red there, George Guna, and Moses Kagochi. How are you gentlemen?
I think Kagochi, this guy needs to define what a big man is.
Yes, you have to define.
Big man, it means you've gone to the gym.
Okay. That's nice.
You are fit. It seems you are ready to go back and play hockey.
Oh yes,
Yes, we are.
excited about going back.
So how are you doing? I hope the floods didn't get to your houses and carry all the coaching boards and hockey sticks away.
No, the coaching boards are put in the ceiling.
Simon, we live in leafy suburbs.
Okay. So I'm the one who's shaming myself. Eh?
Yes, please.
Anyway,
Speak for yourself.
Speak for myself. Anyway, it's good to see you guys. Good to see you, Njugush. Our guest Kagochi, karibu sana.
Thank you so much.
Say hi to our fans. Tusalimie.
Good morning. This good Saturday. Nice to be here once again. I'm really excited about the conversations you're going to have today. Really excited about it.
Yeah.
And of course, as Simon mentioned, we are in a shade and we are not in one of the leafy suburbs homes. We are here at HockeyKE Guest House, who are hosting us, and they are our sponsors, and they have a very serene environment. In fact, at some point, I think I'll ask Mark to turn the cameras a bit so that you can see where we are. If you're looking for a staycation, this is the place you need to be. They have sumptuous meal. Barry, for the last 1 week, amekuwa amenona kabisa, courtesy of HockeyKE Guest House. And of course, they have, the rates are really amazing. So you just need to check them out and you are going to have fun. Yes.
Remember, as the show goes on, you can always WhatsApp us. We have the number there on screen, as well as you can post comments in the comment section below. Now, let's get started. Today we are having a very interesting conversation. You saw Kagochi had a conversation with CGTN Africa.
Oh yes,
regarding club financing, turning the sport to become marketable, to become an industry where guys can earn a living. So before we proceed, let's ask these questions. Do you think we are in a position where hockey can pay their own players? Let's start with Kagochi.
Without mixing the issues, I think the way the status of the sport is right now is fully amateur. And the back goes back to the guys who run the sport. And I always say this, I've been a marketer for a long time, and I realize the power of packaging. So before clubs take over to manage their finances, the sport should be marketed like it brings value, because it doesn't add sense when you have a club looking for finances playing in a league which is not pumped up. So it's a chicken and egg situation. And the reason I'm saying this is for us to go forward, we need to run sports as a business. And I always say this, and people think I'm going crazy, and I'll give a good example. Right now I'm in agribusiness. I started, I'm farming. Now it will be useless for me to have a worker who I'm paying from my pocket, while I can push them to earn their own salary by producing in the land. The land is free of charge, but what I do with the land is the most important thing. So getting this to sports, I think we should see how we can revamp our sport from the federation side, so that it attracts value, and now the clubs now can tap into that what do you call it, goodwill, to get sponsors. But now it doesn't really, for me, I think even if a club struggles to get money, for what? What is there? What is the next step after getting sponsorship? To play social events? But now look at the scenario where we have a big league with a lot of publicity. The sponsors will say, hey, we can add value here, because the first thing we talk about, numbers don't lie. They'll ask you how many people are watching the sport. You know, so I think first and foremost, to me, and what I've seen outside there is about the people who run the sport, putting the sport in a level where everybody wants to associate with that, which means the feeder clubs, the universities will have guys paying for to just work with them. So we can't run away from this. We can't run away from this.
Yeah, but looking at this, Njugush, I'm looking at the number of clubs we have in the country, an average of 47 registered clubs, active clubs. Why is it so difficult for these clubs to have financing? Is it that we view sport as an expensive leisure? Is it that we play hockey out of passion? We know a lot of people do play out of passion. But why is it difficult for clubs to get financing? Because we know most clubs, the only way to get financing is through member subscriptions.
It's a two-way road. I like a word that Kagochi used, that it's a hen and an egg situation. And this is the sense. For me, I think I hold the view that these two parties, both the stakeholder and the person running the sport, or rather the institution running the sports, need to work together towards one goal. And I'll give a classic example of football. With all the quagmires that it has, Nick Mwenda has gone out, he's gotten a sponsor, okay? But even clubs at their own level have been able to get sponsors for themselves. So at what point is Kenyatta University, let's assume I'm the deep state here, okay?
Of course you are.
Which you are.
Of course you are.
We just verified.
That's a joke we've been having off air. So for those who may not understand,
You are the person who knows other people.
Let's assume I'm the deep state here. You are the clubs. Are we, and this I think is the discussion that needs to happen at the hockey level, are we able to, all of us sit, not to fight, because I think 70% of the time has been fighting. Let's speak the truth. 70% has been fighting. But let's sit and say, as KU, for example, and as Butali, okay? Who are you approaching? How can we help you with what you have? How can we help Kenyatta University with what they have? I saw Techno at some point at the front of KU shirts.
Is it KU or
UN? I think it was UN. I beg my apologies. But I mean, how can we get a different brand? On that jersey, okay? How can we? Where are you? Where do you have a problem? Do you need us to write a letter to that organization so that you're attached to it? I mean, it's because Simon, you and I have dealt with sponsorships before, and it's a pretty easy thing, But two things need to happen. You need to be very clean. Your hands need to be very clean. And when you come to the table, you have to come with both hands. True.
Let me tell you where the problem comes in. I'm just looking at a few comments here I received from guys I had a pre-discussion before the show. Where the problem comes in is, and this comment I also got from one of the coaches in KPL, Kenya Premier League Football, and he stated he wanted to remain anonymous. He told me, one of the problems we have in the country is that clubs are not well managed to an extent where they can attract a sponsor. Okay? So you said it's a two-way thing. One of them is being clean. So if let's say Kagochi, we don't manage this club well, it will be very difficult for someone. Hard. Like now you're a man who's worked in South Africa and also in Netherlands. How are clubs run there to an extent where now they can pull in a sponsor? And how do they get the financing to run their affairs?
I think from best practice, I've seen two different models work. In South Africa, is basically from the participants. So what they do, they have the athletes development, as Meshach talked about it, and they have the long-time participants program, which means participants are like the teachers, the organizations in the areas. But the tricky bit is they run the sports based on municipalities. So now, for example, look at this. I'm from Kiambu. Football, basketball, hockey, Kiambu County has to make sure that those sports are sorted out. But now they give you a condition. We can't have 20 teams. We can have 1 or 2 teams to represent the interest of who? Of Kiambu. So which means out of those teams, they get the best talent from that place. And now because it's our Kiambu, who has the responsibility to make sure they're okay? The county government. Who has to make sure that the facilities are there?
It's the county government.
No, we guys, now the European model is strictly the same, but now there is a proper integration of government into that. And that's what I said last time. And people talked as if I was speaking a lot of English for no reason. When I said outside there, sports is not an expense. It's an income generating activity. The government looks at this. If sportsmen perform very well, I'm going to get tax. And in Netherlands, they tax 40%. So you see now they're saying, no, I'm investing in sports, I'll harvest from the sportsmen. If I invest in these sports people and they go play outside the country, they bring the investments back. So either way, I am the one who's benefiting. That's a perception. In South Africa, it's like, hey, I am going, like when I was there, I was coaching a team from Mpumalanga. It's a province. What they did, all the major corporations said, hey, we have an international coach coming here. He's going to play. For the first time, they are going to take young players to play. So which means, what do they need? They need stick bags. What do they need? They need accommodation. So guys will say, hey, my son is playing there. I'll offer this. So that's participants coming in.
That's a conversation I think, was it Senge or who last week?
Yes.
Alluded to.
Yes. So now for me, where I'm struggling is sometimes over reliance to the federation. And I'll talk in terms that one guy who talked about the work of the government is not to feed you, it's to give you an environment to feed yourself. So why are they building the roads? Not to buy you a car. They are building roads so that to facilitate your move from point A to point B. So now for sports, I think where I feel the government should help in is to bring the infrastructure. Once they build the infrastructure, the rest of how they package the sport, how we run the sport, is on the stakeholders themselves. And I think that's why you're having a disconnect. Because the club I work for in Netherlands, the 3 big clubs merged because the government said, hey, we cannot have 3 big clubs in the same town. It means we are losing our players. So they merged to one big club. Now what happens? The government said, we are going to build you 3 extra AstroTurfs. Okay? Now the rest is yours. So what after that, guess what? The sponsor says, hey, we want to be part of this. Which sponsors are there? In that town, there's DAF, there's Volvo. So they say, hey, I'm going to do this. So they have different values but now you see how they have packaged the sport there. The federation has put it in a pedestal. So everybody wants value. You understand? But everybody has a place to play. So I think that's a big one. And that's something you talked about right now, and we had this discussion as an educator. We asked 2 strict questions. We said, okay, after I retire, I have options, either to be a coach or to be an umpire. Now, we have done very well, Simon, you and other people, going for coaches education. Others, like Obalo, I'm very proud of him. He's gone to umpires. Why don't we have people who want to go and study about administration of sports and management of sports, being a former player?
Good point.
So I think
I think we have the likes of Onyi, who's now in where?
Australia. Yes.
Yes. Quite a brilliant sports administrator.
Yes.
When I was playing for Green Sharks, he's one of those people whom, when things are thick,
Yes.
Onyi would step in and say, this is how we are going. And it didn't matter whether Nixon was, was the chairman or what.
Yeah.
And I think it's a valid point that you're bringing on board. I think in as much as, and here I look at the future, because we can't start going back to where we were.
Yes.
I look at the crop of young players that we have right now.
Yeah.
Can we start inculcating it in the clubs? Yeah? Can we start inculcating that in the clubs that will be able to get the young people, allow me to look at our technical team here right now. Get someone like Barry, besides being an excellent player, and because he shows leadership capabilities, get him to get a course at KU, because KU offer sports administration.
Yes, they do.
Yeah?
Yes, they do.
Get him to get that course, get him to do that course. I'm sure he can do a certificate course or something, because it doesn't have to be something that is so big. And then let him come and start at that level. And even I don't know who we were having this discussion with. I think it must have been off air after our show last week. And one of the things that I think, in my opinion, needs to happen in this country is that I think it's a high time Kenya Hockey Union gets to invest in what is it called? Someone who will run the sport on a day-to-day running.
That's one.
And this is with all due respect to the officials. I think for me they should offer more of a vision and get people to run. I have been involved with rugby for what, close to 4 or 5 years now. The technical team that runs the day-to-day running, that is responsible for the day-to-day running, has been the one. The board just comes and ratifies. It's like there's a board, which is basically the officials that are elected, and then there are those people who run the day-to-day running. And look at rugby where it is right now.
And I think Njuguna, when I said, now look at it, and that's why I said I talked like a businessman.
Yeah.
When you run a business, Njuguna, Saimo, I, and Barry, and Mark sit to say we want to do this.
Yeah.
I said, okay, how much money are you producing? I'm producing this. We are the shareholders.
Yeah.
But the day-to-day running,
Yeah.
we have to hire somebody for that. And that's what, even in the club I work in, that's what happens. They are voluntary people who they love the game, and they sit in the board. But they employ what you call a technical director in matter sports, and they have somebody who's running the sport. So day-to-day issues, they don't call Kagochi, they don't call Sam. You know why? Because there's a structure. These guys deal with the policy making and making that the structure and the daily day-to-day things are followed as per the policy.
But let me throw in a spanner into the works.
Yeah.
Do we have the funds to pay such a person? Do you think
Rome was never built in one day?
Yeah, it was never built in one day.
Yeah.
So we have to start somewhere.
Yeah.
Because everything you are saying is valid.
Yeah.
If we look at even the top leagues in any sport, you take English football, it's run by a Premier League Limited.
Yeah.
You look at Kenyan football, it's run by KPL. You see, so we have to start somewhere.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm asking. At the moment, we know that if KHU were to announce that the league is kicking off next weekend, clubs will go frantic because there is no funds to play the league.
Yeah.
So the question is, Jugush, you are asking, for example, a team to come from Kisumu to play in Nairobi.
Yeah.
Where do they get the funds? They usually get the funds from member donations, as well as grants or well-wishers coming in. So the conversation we should be having, as much as we want KHU to hire someone to run affairs, which is a good thing, but I'm asking, where should we start? Should we start by saying, now, the clubs, they are struggling with cash. Should we now change how the clubs run their financing, how they get the revenue? Because you look at most clubs, they don't think beyond getting money to play. I think Wazalendo is the only club that does merchandising to get funds. And I think they, with all due respect, the reasons why they decided to do so is to get funds for the club championship, not to participate in the league. So my point is, we need
to run campaigns. It goes back to what Kagochi said. We have to change our head, the way we think, and think about this game as
a business.
As a business, and I think that way is the best way to start. If it starts at a club level, then it has to be both ways. It has to start at the top, and it has to start at a club level, such that you don't have one side stronger and one side which is weak. Because again, you and especially when it comes to things like sponsorship. I mean, which is the oldest club right now? Wazalendo?
No.
People like Police, Simba, people like
UN
Police.
is also an old club, you see. Karate.
Excuse me. Karate. But I think
I mean, Simba technically they are well off in terms of infrastructure and stuff. Let's take a club, any club. What? Butali is a bit organized. I think they have a technical side which deal with stuff.
Even Wazalendo is organized. Even Police.
They're organized.
I think here we have to separate two things. We have to separate institutional clubs and look at self-sponsored clubs.
Self-sponsored clubs.
Jugush, I want to throw something else in the line.
Okay.
And some of these issues we have here, I would like to think for them from differently. And I did this in the one of the coaching courses we are doing. And I asked a question, and people really got shocked. I asked, could we be suffering from the environment we are in? One, in terms of education.
No.
Okay, now let me now challenge you. The education system we have. I just want to show you, even from the issues of governance.
Okay.
The education we have right now is lecture student based. Okay? Which means what the lecture says is final. The leadership we have today, what the boss says is final. I might have a different opinion, but I cannot respond to that. So unconsciously, if this federation is saying this, I have a different opinion, it stays. Now, why am I saying this? In one of the coaches we are having, we're having a level 2 FIH right now, we have people from different countries. The Africans and South Americans are struggling in talking because in their trading, the lecturer says, and you listen. You only ask a question when you're prompted otherwise. So unconsciously, could we be having a lag behind because of the environment we are in? Now they are bringing CBC, what do you call it? CBC, competency based. You see, I have a child in. Do you see how parents are going crazy? Why? Because
you were even telling me off air that you're keeping off what is it called, wheat, and that is what is being cooked almost every week in your house.
Before I could say but now they say we want so I think and now I think these are the discussion, because we might be fighting, but the way we've been bred, the way we have been brought up is that mzee akisema it's fine. Even if there's an error. And now when you start and this is what Meshach said, and I'm very happy we were part of that program of trying to see how we can make things better. One thing we said, we have to have a meeting with the stakeholders, everybody who's involved. Even if we are doing it, even if we are running, we want to listen. We want them to vent out. Now, the moment we involve everybody, now the people who deal with finance will come in. The people who deal will come in. And they'll feel part of the process. Because the way we have been wired, you have never seen it that way. And I saw it and I was like, okay, I'm a victim of that also. So how do I get, now when I bring up my children, if I say something, I must say that yes, you poor. Will I fight nimesema or I will listen? Now the moment you start listening, guess what happens? Your point will get through, but they will see that you have listened to them, and so they end up being part of the process.
And just cut it short there. I was having a conversation with one of our team members Thursday evening, and we saw it in this way. Who constitutes the federation, the union? Who constitutes KHU?
It's us.
It's us. It's the clubs. It's the county associations, and
it's club, county. Then that forms.
So who are the stakeholders? You know, whenever we have a conversation about stakeholders, people think that we are talking about the guys or the people who are in office managing the sport. No, stakeholders is everyone. The clubs, the media, the umpires, everyone. So now, if going by what Kagochi is saying, if clubs state that we want XYZ, there should be a discussion saying these are have a majority stake in this, because without clubs there is no league, and without KHU there is no league.
There's no league. In fact,
so we have to have that sort of association where Kagochi is saying it is not a rule by iron fist kind of thing. It's a conversation based approach. Because one thing that is affecting our sport, hockey at the moment, is that it's very difficult for us to sit down and have conversations where we have progressive conversations. But what we like, we like pointing fingers and calling blame, but not finding solutions. I'll give you an example.
Hold on to that thought first, because we want to make this also conversation to those who are watching us. So if you'd like to contribute to this show, the number that you need to WhatsApp is down there on the screen. I know Barry will put that out for us. Keep the conversation going also on our YouTube channel, that is the Hockey Republic. And we are going to get back. So continue. Sorry. I had to put everyone
involved.
You see, the
stakeholders.
Yes. The stakeholders
I'll
have to
tell
be
you
involved.
this. Personally, I've had a lot of conversations with a lot of people in the sport. We were with you at the Nyame Pro League 8
Yes.
And we had a conversation with a few of our fans. I'm going to say this, and I know our fans and the people who know me will give me a lot of stick for saying this. But in hockey, we like putting it as a closed family. We don't like to open up to the world. That's one. Number two, we like to air out our dirty linen in public. Number three, we when it comes to a conversation where we want to say, now these are the problems we are in, can we sort out these problems? The same people who complain and bring forward these complaints are not willing to sit down and have that conversation of how can we move ahead from here. You see, so that we can now state, Kagochi, for example, in our club, Simon and Kagochi Hockey Club, we have an issue with financing. How can we get sponsorships? Most of the time when you bring up that conversation, Jugush and Kagochi, most people will start pointing a finger to
the federation.
Now I keep asking them, now how is the federation going to seek sponsorship for you? The best they can do for you is facilitate.
Yes. And I think that's Jugush, I'll be very honest to say this, and by God's grace, I've really worked with KHU for long. I've been there, not work as a player, and now being in the technical team and being able to see what is happening. I think sometimes
we're in a deep state.
Finally, you had to let that out.
No, I see there's a gap to be filled, and one thing we have to also accept is that we come from a culture where we respect. As much as there's freedom, it has to be confined. There's no 100% freedom. And I feel sometimes, yes, there could be an error somewhere. But how do we address it?
The dirty linen.
So for me, I really feel bad. For example, for me, if I have an issue, Simon will tell you, we've had some when you're working together in KU, you had some. But what will I do personally? I'll calm down. I'll go and say, Simon, I want us to talk about this. We'll disagree. But what have we done? We are actually facing each other face to face. And when you're facing face to face, issues come out, and then you're like, by the way, we are thinking the same way, just from a different perspective. In the course, there's something I like saying in the FH courses. I say, if you sit under an elephant, he will say, oh my goodness, this is a very big ceiling. If you stand on the side of the elephant, he will say, damn, this is a very big wall. But ukienda juu ya KICC uangalie elephant unaona hii ni panya. It's an elephant. All of us are right. But from where we are seeing it differently. One thing I have a problem with is how people address some of these issues. Like when Kenya played against Uganda, people are pointing at the players. And that's not a good forum. Remember, these players don't want to fail. Maybe the technical team, they were trying something. How do we address these problems? You can't go to a coach and say, when the bure, walling up. Guess what? He's a person.
He's a human
He's a human being. But so what I'm trying to say is that, and I like this way you're getting at, is we should have an environment where we can air, but also with the confinement of how we are as a people, as a culture, we have to respect some people. For example, like the president of the federation is not a young man. And the way you've been brought up, for example, you can't just go in the newspaper, it's not there. But and this is what I'm saying, can we try to find up forums where we are able to sit? And now again, I go back now to the other side. Should we make the environment
open enough?
Yes.
But also again, even if it's open enough, we should also work with confinement of the respect. So
because even the other side, there are people who are probably elderly than the officials themselves. Are we still? It is a two-way.
It's a two-way.
Jugosh, let me tell you one thing. You've been a sports journalist for long. And you are bringing me up in this field. And one thing we can state is this.
Vile Simon huwa ananyenyekea.
Anajua deep state.
Let's look at this. We know that let's use, football is like the SI unit of all sports. Let's look at this. Football, if they have an issue, we rarely see. In fact, most of the time, we can never see a player go online and bash Nick Mwendo and his team. But they use their clubs. They go to the clubs, and now the club representatives, president, call a meeting with the federation and state, these are the problems we are having based on the feedback we get from our players. And we have that forum. KHU usually calls meeting with team managers. So in fact, if players feel aggrieved by the way probably hockey is being run in the country, they do have a forum.
It's true.
You see, what they just need to do is state, you guys, as clubs, we are the stakeholders of this sport. And as we've said, no clubs, no league. No KHU, no league. So it's a mutual relationship where we have to be open. At the same time, KHU need to be open to criticism. If something comes up, they should look back and state, if 2 or 3 or 5 people are saying there is an issue here, then we need to sort it out.
Simon, there's one thing that we never do. And this is where I tend to agree with you when you say that our education system seems to have, there was a miss somewhere. In the sense of, are you as Simon or as Kagochi willing to admit openly as a leader that I have done this mistake, that this is a mistake I have done and I own it up? Are we able to do that?
Tricky question. Tricky question.
But again,
because I think that is what openness is. It is the beginning that the next time Barry wants to sit on this seat or on that seat, he knows that George is open, and when he wants me to do something, and he needs to talk to me on this earpiece and correct me, he will correct me. Yeah, he'll correct me for the mistake that I've done. Anyway, you were saying something.
Yeah, and I think also if you work in Europe,
Yeah.
you realize that our culture, if you're not careful, our culture sometimes creates in us timidity.
Yeah.
Not with a bad, not for a better word, we are humble. So the biggest shock I had is when you work in Europe, a small child will ask you, I don't think this exercise is helping me. They are honest. And for me, I go to my insecure cocoon, I'm like, this child has no respect. So one thing I've learned in a matter of time is to try and put myself in the other person's shoes. And again, this is a discussion I also have with my children. I might be wrong, but now I'll take some time off and try to look why is this child saying this? From then I like, okay, this one. So people, as I said about the elephant, people seeing things from different perspectives. Jugush, the biggest problem we have, and it really pains me even as a coach and also as a former player, we don't have the ability of taking negative criticism positively.
Yeah.
Jugush, if you mess up again, Jugush, umefanya makosa, you should see that this guy cares enough for me. Why is he trying to tell me? Because I'm not going to KBC and saying Jugush amefanya hivi. Nakwambia Jugush. So first and foremost, I have so you as a person, you don't, instead of protecting yourself, you'll say this guy, he has seen something. Yeah, maybe the how I say it is a problem, but the motive, if the motive is right, then the action should not be I should not judge it from the action. But I should look at the motive. And what I've learned with time is that I look at the motive of something. And in the long run, if we, and this is what I'm saying, if we're able to, this is what they say, we should always be able to accept without a but. In Netherlands, there's something they say, the hardest country to coach in the world is Netherlands, because the people say yes but. There's something they say in Dutch, they say yama. Yama means yes but. But if you say yes, then you hold on later and then go to that person and say, I was thinking about this. What do you think? So you have solved a problem. But no, culturally, like, no, can you go and tell your father ulifanya makosa kuuza shamba?
Panangumo.
Yeah, but because the way so some of these things I tend to think, I'm looking at it from that perspective. I tend to look at it as if the way we've been nurtured, our education system, our cultures have put us in an area where it affects us unconsciously. And it will take a lot of time for us to accept that we need to change it. We cannot be like the Europeans. So on that point, but best practices states that for us to succeed, we have to accept yenyewe tumelala kwa job. We are supposed to do this. Please help us. That's the hardest thing for somebody to say. Please help us, and it can only come when it's an environment where I don't feel like I'll be victimized. And I like the fact that it's okay to disagree. It's very, very healthy to disagree. Because it means the other person has also a point of view. Yes.
And what they are saying is important.
And now coming to the point of view, it's the time now we update you on the world hockey news. Pro League. Something shocking happened in the Pro League. The Great Britain beat Germany, which was unexpected. We had Great Britain beating Germany 5-3 and then 3-1.
I think Tracy and I predicted that last week, if I'm not wrong.
I wish you could have that footage and review. And then we had the women, Germany won 3-2 game 2, and then 2-0 lead game 1. Kagochi, what do you think? A shock by Germany losing to Great Britain?
No. In modern hockey, what is happening right now, there's a lot of analysis. So these guys, they really invest a lot in scouting, and they invest a lot in understanding what these guys are doing differently. So they come and counter that. And I think I was a bit shocked with that, because Germany are on a trajectory. They have changed a lot of things. But also I think there's a young England are also investing a lot of young players. There's a lot of young players. So young players are known not to fear names. So I think there's a lot to play to that. But I can't wait for the second game. It's going to be good.
Then moving forward, still in Germany. So Mannheim is to host the German Final Four series this weekend.
Yes.
The Mannheim hosts the climax of the extended German season, of course, for obvious reasons, COVID. With the final four playing out this weekend for both men's and women's competitions.
Yeah.
So the other news is the long-awaited Trans-Tasman series. For those guys who don't know, the Tasman series is the New Zealand, Australia, I think Fiji as well. I mean, Fiji have started playing.
The five nations kind of thing.
Yeah. So it's back. So hopefully some good hockey to watch.
Very interesting game.
Yeah, very interesting. So the 4-match series will be the final qualification event for 2 countries to go to the Olympics.
Simon, let me shock you. You know, I've worked a little bit in Mannheim.
Kagochi. How old
You've been everywhere.
Boss.
The real deep state.
The real deep state.
No, I think one thing that Mannheim has, Mannheim town loves hockey. That's where TK is.
So basically Mannheim is the western of Kenya, of Germany, sorry.
And they're very organized. They have very good facility, and I think they are the one. I think one of the few people who have an indoor hockey stadium, full hockey stadium. They can make it into what do you call it? A dome. With controlled air conditioning. So, and I think it's good, and they deserve it. They have really invested a lot of money on the club.
Yeah, Uhuruto, we are still waiting for those stadiums, by the way.
The one up here, I passed a couple of times. I'm seeing it's really shaping up.
Do they have a hockey field?
Yeah, they have a hockey field.
An AstroTurf or
no?
It's supposed
now
to
we
be,
don't know. The construction is on site.
The word I got is 2 options: sand-based turf or Maram.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I'll go for the sand-based.
I think that is what we'll go for. Government will go for Maram.
But obviously, we all know how the government operates. For us to use that stadium, we'll have to hire it. Anyway, now FIH elections, they're up. Why, yes. Tell us, you have friends close there. What do you think of the elections? They're supposed to be in 22nd May next weekend
as Njagush
in Delhi, India.
It's a very close call. And I think what Batra has done, we've seen a lot of tournament goes to third world countries, in quotes. So I don't want to sound bad because FIH is my parent body, but I'm waiting to see the next guys who are going to come in. Because I think the next phase is the next phase is inclusivity. I think there's a challenge about hockey being played in the Olympics, and that's why they're talking about the hockey fives. So there's a lot of shadow diplomacy going there, because if hockey is one of the most important games in the Olympics, but from a distance they've been having those discussions and talking about hockey fives. Why hockey fives? The excitement. So there's a lot of so I think it's going to be exciting to see what is happening.
It will be. And of course, stay at THR will give you updates on how the elections go about. And last but not least, Kagochi here was involved with the level 2 FIH coaching course. Tell us how was the course, or is it done? I think
we've done the first week, and we've given they have some tasks they have to do, and then we finish on Friday. It's tough. It's because the next level of coaching is basically talking about decision making. So assuming all factors remaining the same, we have done the technical, we have done the tactical, we've done the mental. All that is to help us in decision making in the field. So it's amazing. Different continents represented, Africa represented, with of course one of our own, Lilian Aura. She's in that course, and I'm really happy. But above all, I love the way what is happening right now. We are breaking mindsets, and I'm happy that Europeans have started seeing these guys from the so-called third world countries. They are smart. It's just they don't have the right environment to succeed. As I said last time, my mentor, Siegfried Eichmann, in that article, there's something he told me. So Moses, you have the right skill sets, but where you're working and where you're supposed to be, there's a disconnect. So it's amazing. I'm really happy. The coach's knowledge is really helping us, and I hope a lot of Kenyans can see it for what it is. It's just to help you develop your skills so that you can give back to the sport.
Awesome.
And just before we end the show, I think there's something that we probably need to look into. Now that Kagochi is here, you had we had several courses that KHU had or rather trained people, several people.
Yes.
Simon, I know, was one of them.
Yes, he's a senior guy now there.
Yeah, he's a very senior guy.
Assistant deep state.
Not yet.
No,
Not yet.
Any dipstick fake.
Yeah. Yeah.
But to that point, what do you think? What is do we expect a different hockey in this coming league, or should we give ourselves time frame for the same?
I think one thing I can categorically say, there's a lot of change when you started the hockey.
Yeah.
That's from last 3 years.
Yeah.
It for me, change started when you started seeing schools wakaanza kucheza kimila.
Yeah.
Kaende
Yeah, yeah.
ball inapigwa mpaka inapiga nduru, hiyo ball was to me the next game.
Hit and hope.
Hope.
Hit and hope. Yeah.
I'm really happy because I've seen schools have started playing, trying to have some organized structured hockey. University, fantastic. I wish you never come to Kusa. It's fun.
Kusa is good.
People don't respect you because of the kind of university you are.
Yeah.
For me, I am happy. The only thing I am really crying for is people should not do these courses because of the certificate.
Yeah, true.
And this is a challenge we are having. People should do these courses to learn more, get new ideas, get better practices, so that we can give back. But I expect a lot of tactical display, a lot of different thought processes. And I think that's the beauty about the workshops.
One thing I can tell you already is most clubs have started taking the mental aspect more seriously, the mental aspect of the game.
Yeah.
We have clubs nowadays. Now you find in their WhatsApp groups they are sharing a clip, or when they are watching the Pro League, they start conversations. For example, where should that defender be?
Yes.
Or what did the striker do wrong? You know, as you said, 3 years ago or 2 years ago, we just had players coming in. Let's do short corners, stopping hitting. Let's prepare for the league. No, but nowadays you have scouting. You have teams that are scouting each other in the country, and in fact, I was expecting the 2020 league to be the most competitive league. Yeah. So now, anyway, going back to the club management and structures. I'll fancy you this. How many clubs do you think can attract a sponsor in the country?
For me, I think basically I think all clubs can attract sponsors. In fact, for me, the people who should attract more sponsors actually the institutional teams. Why? Because they are better structured, and I don't know if you did this. Let me take it back to you. Do you know when I was growing up, when I was playing school games, why do you think Brookside are in school games? Why do you think Colgate are interested in the school games? Why do you think Airtel was interested? Well, because they saw patronage later and I talked about patronage. They see if you sponsor these guys, we plant a seed in their head about Airtel. They'll use Airtel.
Yeah.
So they are. I feel that there are opportunities for that.
Well, based on the conversation I had, I told you I had a conversation with people regarding this.
Yeah.
Based on that conversation, 4 clubs are in serious contention to get a serious sponsorship.
Wow, that's good.
And those 4 clubs are Blazers, Wazalendo number 1, Blazers number 2, and then the 2 Simba clubs. Of course, one of them is already under sponsorship from Butali. Institution clubs, you've said, they're also in line to get a sponsorship, but unfortunately most of the corporates can't come in because universities and institutions want to retain the name. They want to retain the branding.
And I think that's a discussion we need to have.
So looking at that, and then now we come to the way the clubs are managed and the structures they have. The reason as to why we cannot attract serious sponsorships is because when you go into a club and ask how is the management, the management, and I think I had this conversation with Wiki, you saw that interview about club management. Is most clubs, their management is based on the formation of the club. If three of us
decided to start a club,
we will become management. You will become the president, you will become the head coach, I'll become probably the social media guy, and then we look for someone who probably does accounting or works in accounting, and tell them you'll be the finance guy. That's how most clubs are run. So when now a sponsor comes in and wants to have a round table discussion,
still the same people.
Same people.
If the minds have never changed,
and the truth of the matter is, and I know I'll get a lot of stick for today's discussion. Truth of the matter is, most of those managers per se never appear in training and during the game. Probably they come for the game, but once in a while. So they really don't know how clubs are run. You've been in clubs in South Africa and Netherlands. What do we need? Of course, I know they are way advanced. They are way beyond us. But what can we borrow from how clubs are being run to the point where a sponsor can come in and say, I like Njugushe's club and I want to sponsor your club?
I think the first thing is accountability and transparency. Those clubs are transparent. For example, if I'm going there, they'll just say, Moses, we need you to come here. This is what you're going to pay you. This is what you're going to get. And this is what we expect from you. Straight from a moment go. And they tell you, this one you're going to talk to this person. This one you're going to talk to this person. And this person you're going to talk to. So I think the biggest challenge we have, and let me just use a better, most of our leaders are honorary. They just want to come show up there. And it's not bad, but again, there's something I asked before. Coaches are getting training. Umpires are getting training. What about these guys who are supposed to be managing this? They need to get some training, even if it's a fast-tracked one, on club management, finances, sponsorship. It's when you do a management course, sponsorship is very big there. Equipment is there. Resource, So
how do you know what's your inventory?
Yes, how do you know what's inventory? And the most important thing is that people management is key. I'm telling you,
very key.
People management is key, and I think, and I'm very happy, Simon. FIH is coming up with a model. I think they had the one for managers, because we raised and said, guys, we have so many umpires, coaches are being trained. Who's going to run the sport? If all of us are busy on the ground, we need people who have played the sport. Have passion about the sport, but now they're more inclined to the management of the sport. And I think the moment you get that connect, we'll be untouchable.
True. And Jugush, to pull you in on this now, you look at the way the clubs run the sport. You look at how KHU run the sport, and you can see a clear disconnect. Because you look at members of the club want KHU to do something so that the club, the club and the sport can pull in a sponsor. I shared a text with you on WhatsApp and you laughed. I said, most clubs or most players want KHU to get a sponsor, but yet they themselves, they don't have that pull. I was looking at the European Super League for those who follow football.
Yes.
And
the big contention.
The contentious one. And then I was wondering, what if clubs are actually the ones who are making the sport attractive?
It has to start there.
Because you can't expect KHU to be the one that is attractive to attract a sponsor, and yet the quality
is the problem.
Because you can't tell me that Wiki now will come to your club and train players on how to play or how to manage the club, or the president won't come to let's say a random club that has started and
they can only do what they did during the COVID period. And let's call a spade, where someone deserves to be congratulated, they need to be congratulated. I think KHU did a fantastic thing to train coaches during the COVID period. And so the next thing is, how then are you how are you ensuring that the game is now up to par? As a coaches, because now that is the challenge that has been thrown back to them. And I think it's all about, I mean, how many clubs are training right now?
Very few.
Yeah,
very few.
Will we wake up 2 weeks before the league starts? How many clubs are sourcing for funds right now?
Such
Yeah?
a good question.
Yeah.
How many clubs are sourcing for funds right now? Yeah.
And the other question is, and that's why I brought up the European Super League.
Yeah.
The reason as to why those clubs wanted to break away from their leagues is because of the amount of money the sponsors came in with.
Yeah.
The sponsors did not approach the leagues,
The institution.
the federations.
Yeah.
They approached the clubs and told them, you guys have a massive pool. I'll give you an example with Kenya. Remove Gor Mahia, Sofapaka and AFC from Kenyan football.
Yeah.
FKF will struggle
Yeah.
to pull in sponsors.
True.
You see, clubs, and I want to say this, and I know members of clubs are listening.
Yeah.
Clubs, you are the ones to make this hockey grow.
Yeah.
KHU cannot do it alone.
Yeah.
The county associations will do it alone.
Yeah.
Clubs. For example, if Kenya Police versus Butali can pull in 1,000 spectators in the stadium,
Yeah.
the revenue allocation dictates that the clubs should get something,
Yeah.
as
Out
well
of
as the
it.
federation.
Yeah.
And then now we can have that discussion where you are saying, that conversation where you are saying, you can now have in a technical guy you are paying week in, week out. But if we have clubs who can barely pull in funds to the stadium,
There's one word you use, and I think you did that in your course, in the FIH course. There's what you call the pull and push aspect.
Yeah.
There are two ways of getting something done.
Yeah.
You push it.
Yeah.
When you push it, it's not long term.
Yeah.
When you pull it, it's you who are
You are the
attracting.
driving
You're the
force.
driving force. And as much as people are resistant, they will try and adjust to what you require. And again, Simon, I like that. Clubs also. No, let me touch something on, not about politics, but something which is true. We are blaming the leaders, but who elected them? The leaders, Jigush, the leaders.
Wacha tumalize.
wacha kusema ukweli bana. Sema ukweli sana.
But then let me just say it the way it is, Simon. The leaders we elect are a reflection of who we
are.
So we have a problem also as a people. So we can't be pointing fingers. Somebody, my mother used to tell me, when you point, how many fingers are pointing you? So before you point, you have to look at yourself first.
Yeah.
So I think also as clubs, we should also try and manage our affairs quite well.
Because I was telling Barry this last night. Jugush, what will happen? You are an Arsenal player.
Hey.
What will happen if sorry, you're an Arsenal fan? You're also a fan as well.
No, I'm not a fan.
You're a follower.
I'm a member.
You're a
There's
member.
difference, yes.
Okay. Sorry. I call you
Deep state.
deep state.
Yeah.
They get anyway. You follow the club.
Yeah.
What will happen, for example, if a player went online and threw bad words to the FA? What do you think will happen?
But they know there are repercussions.
The club
Yeah.
and the federation take action.
Yeah.
What happens to in our country?
No.
Let's be honest. You know, some things it's good to lay them bare.
We go nowhere. It's but do you know why? What attachment, you've used Barry as an example. What attachment, what commitment do you have
to the club
from Barry?
Yes.
What commitment does Barry? Yeah. Apart from playing.
It's
for the love of the game?
Yeah, it's for the love of the game. And
yes.
that's the point I wanted to bring about.
But you see, it has to be instilled in him. Yeah. And it's not just financial. Barry needs to buy into the idea that I own this club.
Yes.
The reason why he's paid membership is because he feels he is part of
this club.
Yeah.
And you see,
and even when it will occur to him that when he messes up, he's not only messing up his club, he's messing up the sport.
Basically, what that clause states, or what most clubs, even contract states, you are bringing the sport into disrespect. You see, as much as for example, you are heading the federation, and I come, I spew abuse on you,
Yeah.
I'm not only damaging your reputation, I'm also damaging the sport's reputation.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Because even if I get you out of office and I bring someone else, and human is to error, you'll make a mistake.
Yeah.
True.
If I go then and still do the same,
Yeah.
the sponsor out there is looking at the comments and stating,
Yes.
this sport is not good enough for me
Yes.
to bring my brand.
Yes.
Yeah.
The reason as to why clubs, however much, yes, I know most people say, but okay, we are not paying our players.
Yeah.
But you see, we need to start somewhere. The reason as to why it's so difficult for us, and this, and you know, I'm saying out of experience, since we've tried to pull in sponsors to this sport,
Yeah.
Kagochi, you know this.
Yes.
You go to a sponsor, they tell you, fine, hockey is good. We are ready to come onto the table.
Yeah.
But 1, 2, 3 things have to happen. For example, we have to have the club. I've been with a club in discussion with a sponsor, a 3-way discussion. And then the sponsor looked at the comments by one of the club members and said, I cannot come into the club if your members are making such comments.
Such utterances.
So they lost out.
Yeah, because of the members.
Yeah. For example, now, Njugush, you have a BMW, and this show is not sponsored by a BMW. You have a BMW jersey.
Yeah.
What if you speak ill of the motor industry? You have an opinion, yes. We all have an opinion.
Yeah.
What if, let's say you like Mercedes, I like Toyota,
Yeah.
and then you talk badly about BMW,
Yeah.
what do you think BMW will do? And you represent, and BMW represent the motor industry.
Yeah.
You talk ill about other motor industry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We need to
I
we
think
need to change.
I think, Simon, what you said is true. And again, like what I started before.
Yeah.
Most of us are pointing at the people who are supposed to be responsible and forgetting that we are the driving force.
Yeah.
We are responsible.
Yeah.
And one thing I'm very happy about is this Simon, you know, I'm a firm believer of conversations.
Yeah.
Conversation get people out of their closets. One thing I'm very proud of is the way Wazalendo has been. Simon, in fact, you didn't say I'm a founding member of Wazalendo. You never accepted this.
Okay, he is a founding member.
But I'm trying to say, from the moment go, the motive was right. The motive was right. And I think sometimes I also ask this: why are teams forming? Why are teams being formed? If the motive was to get money, trust me, you won't succeed. But if the motive is to get the guys to play the sport and contribute to the growth of the sport, guess what? Sponsors, already from the ethos of the club, it pulls in attraction. And I think sometimes I look at the comment like comments from people who love hockey, and actually sometimes I will say it's totally distraction to the sport.
Yeah.
You know, and again,
and especially when I don't know whether I want to go to this. Anyway, I always say if you love something, you'll do everything to protect it.
Yeah. So my challenge to the clubs: take action. You know, take action.
I think, Simon, don't just talk about clubs. Let's talk about stakeholders.
Stakeholders. Yes.
Yeah.
No, but this message is to the clubs.
Okay.
You know why I'm saying this?
Yeah.
The clubs are the ones who make the league what it is.
Yeah.
Without Kenya Police, without Butali, without Blazers, without Wazalendo, there is no premiership. Without the 47 registered clubs.
Please mention Bungoma Farmers.
Bungoma Farmers.
Yes.
Without Bungoma Farmers, there is no league.
Yeah.
Because KHU will be there, but no clubs to play the league.
Yeah.
So the clubs also have a stake in this. So if their players are feeling aggrieved and they see, the club officials see their players making these comments, why don't you form a meeting? You call other club members. You are free to do so.
Yeah.
I don't think even KHU have a problem with that. As clubs meet and state, guys, my club members are saying this. Your club members, what are they saying? Is it the same thing? And then from the 47 clubs, they can call a stakeholders meeting with the KHU and state, our members, our sponsors, our donors are saying we need to change this. Simple. And then now action is start being taken. One of the problems we have, as you said, with stakeholders is lone ranger kind of mentality. Wewe club yako, you want to stay alone, Kagochi wants to stay alone, and then we are all saying kumbaya, we want hockey to
grow.
We can never grow like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, coming to a close.
Yes, we need to bring this to a close.
Yeah.
Let's have the final word. probably let me start with you, Simon, and then Kagochi will end. He's the most senior person here.
Senior in what?
Yeah?
Senior in everything.
In everything.
Yeah. From the pocket.
Okay.
You see, you are wearing a complete white top to bottom.
Yeah.
Adidas. Thank
you.
Adidas is bay. Anyway, my point is this, and my comment is this. Don't criticize and not give solutions.
Yeah.
Every time we keep saying, be the change you want to be.
Yeah.
If you want KHU to pull in sponsorship, make sure your club as well can pull in sponsorships.
Yeah.
Because if all 47 clubs had a shirt sponsor, then as the sport will grow, and other big people will come and say, since there is no space to sponsor clubs, why don't we sponsor the league?
Yeah.
Why don't we sponsor the federation? Okay. If a player becomes a brand, if a club becomes a brand, then we can be able to pull in funds to the stadium.
Yeah.
But we cannot keep bashing and not giving solutions.
Yeah.
As I said, clubs, we are the stakeholders. Players, we are the stakeholders.
Yeah.
Management, you are the stakeholders.
Yeah.
Can we have honest, open conversations where we accept criticism, and as Kagochi said, honest, respectful criticism?
Yeah.
Because abuse and foul language will take us nowhere.
That's not criticism. Yeah.
Let's accept we've all done mistakes, including myself as Simon with HockeyKE. I've done mistakes.
Yeah.
We are ready, willing and open to help this sport grow. We need sponsorships so that our clubs can run, because I can guarantee you, Jugush, if all leagues were to come back now,
Yeah.
I'm sure most people won't be able to afford to play in the league. Why? Because we depend on member funding,
Yeah.
member donations.
And it's been
Yeah.
a tough season.
So let's change, as clubs, let's change how we run our clubs. As players, let's change our mentality. Let's take the route that shows respect to make changes to the sport.
Yeah.
And as the KHU, let's accept criticism and look at things and state, here we need to change. Here we need to improve. How can we help our clubs grow?
Yeah.
And that's from me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well,
Kagochi?
yeah, for me, hockey has done so much for me. I'm who I am because of hockey. I'm not talking about financially, but
I mean, you're an agribusinessman. So
but honestly, I say this with all due respect.
Yeah.
I got my first job because of hockey. Hockey has saved me from crime and everything where I grew up.
Yeah.
So for me, one of the reasons why I give back to the sport, people don't understand, is because I would like other people to benefit the same.
Yeah.
Look at the people who have gotten scholarships.
Yeah.
Look at the kids who are coming from low backgrounds, who have gone to good schools, gotten good marks, goes to university and help their parents. So to me, sport, hockey to me should not be a sport as per se, it's a lifestyle.
Yeah.
And where you place your value, you don't want to see the sport getting down.
Yeah.
So it cascades from down top. For me, there's one, I believe action and reaction are the same, they're just opposite direction. So as much as you require the federation to do something, as Simon have said, as a person, I should do my bit from where I am.
Yeah.
If everybody does their bit from where they are, guess what? The sport goes back to... And so again, if the national team doesn't perform, which it's because of me as a person.
Yeah.
Have I done my bit? And lastly, best practices.
Yeah.
We should get best practices. What are people doing well? Why is India back to top?
Yeah.
Why is Belgium still on the top?
Yeah.
Why is Uganda improving?
Yeah.
One country to watch and people don't watch, it's Botswana.
Yeah.
Botswana, we were beaten 12-13, but as the event game reduced. Why is Namibia doing well? We should get the best practices.
Yeah.
So I think for me, I'm really happy, Simon. We are having conversations, changes mind. And what we are doing right now, we are not pushing.
Yeah.
We are creating a pool.
Yeah.
And pool is more long term.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining us this morning.
Yeah.
And thank you so much for taking your time to just watch this. I don't know, Simon, if you have any comments on the
Basically to thank ACK guest house.
Yeah.
You can see the environment here is cool, it's calm.
Yeah.
We can stay here the long day
Yeah.
having conversations.
Last week we left here very late.
In fact we stayed here till 4
4 p.m.
Yeah, the environment is nice, it's clean.
Food is sumptuous.
Food is sumptuous.
If Juguna buys us coffee, I think
He has already bought it.
Thank
Actually,
you.
I'm seeing there's something there that is doing. It's just that I think our producer Barry has stated that we should not take coffee during the show.
Yeah.
But thank you very much to everyone who has watched. And remember, you can always follow HockeyKE, Hockey Kenya on all social media platforms. Kagochi has a page. It's called Hockey Farm Sports.
Yeah. Do you still run
The live shows.
the live shows?
We resuming this month.
Okay.
What we did, some of the people who I wanted to interview, we have lost some great people.
Okay.
So, and I think just as a matter of respect, and so we are resuming, and bigger and better, and the right people,
Yeah.
good people.
Yeah, also remember that the conversation never ends.
Yeah.
Please keep having these discussions. We need this sport to go forward. I was telling Jugush that we need to come back from square zero.
Yeah.
Then now we start again, and then we move forward. Until the next weekend, have a lovely weekend and the rest of the week. Cheers, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.